Wow, 260,000 people watching live. You guys, that is amazing. Thank you for that donation. Thank you to everyone who went on to my website and bought a hat, one of our CIA hats, bought a t-shirt.
I just thought she'd be more upset. Like Candace said, why would you be talking about merch? Up next, we got to check in with our fave over here. Just our toxic queen of chaos and conspiracy, Candace Owens, the podcast star and YouTube sensation, because she is once again honoring the loss of her dear, dear friend, Charlie Kirk, by brutally going after his widow, because that's exactly what he would want, of course. And so what she's decided to do, and this is really blowing up online right now, what she has decided to do is to leak selectively several minutes of a Zoom call that Erika Kirk did with the Turning Point all staff after Charlie was killed a few days later. And then Candace has decided to pick through it to suggest that she behaved strangely, that Erika behaved strangely on the call and seemed happy, not sad. So I'm going to show you a clip of Candace that Candace herself cut and put out on TikTok that is getting millions and millions of views. I think it has 4 or 5 million views by the time you're seeing this. So then I'm going to give you my thoughts as we go along on this. And then I have some tea. I have some clips that I dug up of what Candace was posting on this very same timeline, just days after Charlie was killed. And spoiler alert, she did a lot of the very same things she's accusing Erika Kirk of doing that are apparently so bizarre and suspicious. And guys, you also have to remember, she has implicated Erika Kirk and Turning Point in the murder of Charlie Kirk. So this is not just like, oh, yeah, her grieving is a little weird. This is all part of that allegation, which is deadly serious and is an extraordinary claim. So it's not like nobody can ask any questions about Erika Kirk or like that her handling of Turning Point is beyond reproach or anything like that. That is not what we are saying. But what we are saying is that digging this up so many months later as part of a plot where you're suggesting she was in on the killing of her husband, Candace has pretty openly implicated that at this point, is a choice. Anyway, let's take a look at this clip.
I do want to remind you that Charlie has not been dead for 2 weeks. That's where you have to go back to. Not even 2 weeks after Charlie was publicly assassinated. The obvious point of this call to set this up is to introduce Erika. She's the new leader. Not even introducing, she's just heading up this call, but obviously she's going to be at the helm of this, so they're getting to know her. So let's take a listen.
Hi, everybody. I still love all these emoji Zoom things. Wow. I don't even know where to begin. The fact that we were able to pull off an event of a century, like, it's just insane.
Guys, I have a kind of embarrassing confession to make. I only read about 10 books in all of 2025, but I'm determined to dedicate more time and more energy to reading in 2026. Yet after being bombarded all day with email newsletter updates and reading news articles, I find it hard sometimes to sit down and pour through a 500-page nonfiction book, which is why discovering today's sponsor, Shortform, was such a godsend. Shortform produces super high-quality guides to nonfiction books. Their guides are like super-powered book summaries, comprehensive coverage of all the book's key ideas, clearly and simply explained, plus smart commentary and analysis. It's like your smartest friend teaching you about a book, taking minutes instead of hours. For example, I wanted a refresher on one of my favorite political books that I haven't read in a few years, Basic Economics by the economist Thomas Sowell. But the actual book runs over 700 pages, and I don't quite have time to pour over that all again. But using Shortform, I was able to read through all the main ideas and insights from this classic in like 20 minutes. So join me in fighting back against our destroyed attention spans and terrible doom-scrolling habits. Check out Shortform now to focus your mental energy on learning and reading in the new year. Go to my link now, shortform.com/Polumbo, to try it out for free and get $50 off an annual subscription.
We had over 275,000 people that attended, and the stadium, overflow, Westgate, insane, you guys. And then you have, was it 100 million? We had thousands that were registered to vote. I think We're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps like bumping up like crazy. But I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the events team, the development team, the graphic design team, the production team. It's just phenomenal. Their incredible work leading into the memorial. And honestly, a lot of the staff that worked on the memorial, they had 20-hour days for a week during the time of us grieving the loss of my husband. And honestly, I know several staff that didn't even sleep. Again, you guys are breathing angels. I don't care if any of you have beef with each other from the past or have any issues with someone said something about this or that. Like, if you guys have any of that, please put it to rest. My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead. And it puts life into perspective of how short life is. And
so before we get to Candace's commentary on the call, let's just talk about it ourselves for a moment. Listen, this is clipped up. These are a couple moments clipped out of a very lengthy Zoom call. There are other portions, and I listened to the rest of it that Candace showed, and I listened to Candace's full episode about this that show Erika moments where she really is sad and does seem to be holding back tears. But it's like, listen, you're still stunned at that point. And what these things that Candace is highlighting, like, oh, the fact that she laughed and said, oh, these emojis on Zoom, because there must have been the reactions or some sort of thing, that doesn't come off to me as like a person who's happy and cheery. It comes off to me as a person who's like feeling numb and is awkwardly laughing, right? And is feeling uncomfortable. Nervous laughter. That's how I interpret that. And I certainly don't think it's proof that she is in on the murder of her husband or anything like that. But even the other things that she talks about the fact that they turned the memorial into this massive event and it was hugely successful and all of this. It is not that strange to me. And it doesn't mean she's fake and not grieving at all and is happy Charlie's dead or anything like that, that she would focus on the success and keeping the vision alive, and that she would even throw herself into it. Sometimes when something terrible happens, you want to distract yourself. And so that might be why she is talking about merch, which of course is a little odd, but you know what? It is what it is. And somebody else was talking about merch around the same time, as we will see. But it is not that sinister to me. And frankly, like, grief is a strange process. And I just think it's weird and sick to be putting this woman under the microscope for how she responded in the days after her husband's death, all these months later, just to draw clicks and attention, first of all, and as part of some investigation into Charlie Kirk's death. This tells us nothing about how Charlie died or who killed Charlie. Not that Candace is a serious investigator into any of those questions anyway. It just serves to, like, sick a mob of people insulting and mocking Erika on her at this time, all these months later. To what end? To what end? Is that what Charlie would want? Is that how you're honoring his legacy, Candace? I don't know. That seems pretty strange to me. But let's hear what Candace had to say about the clip that she played on her show.
It is the general tone that is off-putting. It's the laughter that is off-putting. It's, again, we are not even 2 weeks after watching your husband be assassinated. We're talking about numbers and metrics that have been hit. And my husband's dead, not to be morbid. That is a sentence that and this was not my husband, and I had no sort of the type of relationship that she had with him, that I was able to utter. Least of all, I mean, that's moving pretty quickly to the acceptance phase. Now, we know everybody grieves differently. In my imagination, I just thought she would be more upset.
Well, like I said, there are portions of the call where she seems very upset, but it's like she's putting on a brave face. I think that the laughter is nervous laughter. And sure, it's all a bit strange. But who knows how that would we all react perfectly? People are strange. And like the idea that you can't, or you're just going to cry and be bedridden 24/7 every day, days for weeks and weeks on end after a tragedy happens, is maybe what you might think of how somebody should respond. It's not how human beings work. It really is not. And people do often respond in a way where they throw themselves back into work to distract themselves, or they dedicate themselves to a mission to try to, I mean, it honestly may have not, she's talking about, oh, she's already in the acceptance stage. It sounds to me like it hasn't even fully hit her that her husband is gone and that she's just, again, though, but it's like, who are we to just dissect this woman's grief, all as part of the suggestion that she's in on killing her husband? Which is very plainly what Candace has suggested. And this idea that, well, if you truly cared, you wouldn't be working or you wouldn't be worrying about merch sales or anything like that. Well, guess what? A certain Miss Candace Owens was doing just days after Charlie Kirk had died. We're going to watch a clip. And the date on this clip is September 16th. So this is just literally days after after Charlie Kirk was killed. And in fact, I think it may be the same day of the Zoom call that Erika has been leaked of Erika, but at least it's like within a day or two of that. What was Candace doing? Oh, she was bragging about her viewership numbers on her commentary about Charlie Kirk and pushing her merch. You cannot make this shit up. Watch this clip.
Wow, 260,000 people watching live, you guys. That is amazing. That makes me feel so good. Alma Coronado writes, sending you love from Douglas, Arizona. I'm sending you guys love back, and thank you for that donation. Thank you to everyone who went on to my website and bought a hat, one of our CIA hats, bought a t-shirt, and supported us.
Guys, I just thought she would be more sad. I just thought she'd be more upset, like Candace said. Why would you be talking about merch? Why would you laugh? Why would you be happy in any way, in any sentence you uttered? See how that's actually not that crazy, Candace? Unless you're saying you're also crazy and you're also sick. Because remember, she talks about how this is her dearest friend in the world. Of course, she doesn't really act like it, or maybe she'd leave his widow alone. But it's just funny to me that Candace repeatedly has done exactly what she is accusing Erika of being so supposedly sick or twisted for doing. Here's another clip of Candace. This one is from like 2 weeks after Charlie died.
We are going to solve the murder of my friend, Charlie Kirk. And if you guys would like to support us, we are independent. As I tell you, you can sign up at our website, CandaceOwens.com. Buy yourself this. This is pretty bomb. Yep, our CIA line. This is the Candace Intelligence Agency. Some people think that it actually says like CIA. The Decentralized Intelligence Agency. I love it. Our products are great. And that's the way that you can just show support and show some love. In the meantime, let's just bop some Kanye power this weekend. I'm going to hit him up. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, so we're going to solve the murder of my dear friend. Now buy my merch. Like, even this, I actually don't think is even that crazy. It doesn't mean Candace didn't care about Charlie or that she wasn't sad he was dead. It's just business, and it's just the name of the game. But to have this extreme double standard where Erika is evil because she was talking about business and numbers, but you were doing this same exact thing, even though he was your dear, dear friend, you were so distraught. You're totally hypocritical. And obviously your criticism of Erika for this doesn't hold weight, or you'd be applying it to yourself. By your own standards that you have outlined here, a person can care about someone and be in grief and still talk about their job and worry about merchandise and other things. And I just think that's how people are. I mean, you have people who go back to work a couple days after as teachers, as firefighters, and they're sad, but there's moments where they joke and they laugh. And I just can't imagine being put under the microscope that Erika has been put under. I'm not saying she's above reproach or that she hasn't been weird in some ways. I mean, yeah, kinda, but like, imagine having the hardest period of your life put under a microscope by a podcaster's deranged fan base and this massive online movement. It's just anybody would probably, there'd be moments where they seem strange or odd. I know that I would, if you put me under how I behave under a microscope and found the strangest 5 minutes out of, every week of my life, you'd be like, wow, he's a real weird dude. He's super autistic. And you know what? Maybe you'd be kind of right, but it wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be representative of who I am overall as a person. It's just sick. And then it's also sick because it's like, look at who is loving this. For example, I'm going to show you a clip of Hassan Piker, the leftist, terrorist sympathizer and streamer and internet star, absolutely lapping this up and enjoying Candace's leaks and humiliation of Erika Kirk because he hated Charlie. He hates Erika, and he loves to make fun of them. And you've just given him the perfect fuel. What an amazing way to honor your friend, Candace. Anyway, here that clip is of Hassan.
There is a leaked Turning Point USA Erika Kirk audio. You are not ready for it, okay? This is, I believe this is like recorded approximately 11 days after Charlie Kirk had been killed.
Hi, everybody. I still love all these emoji Zoom things. Wow. I don't even know where to begin. The fact that we were able to pull off an event of a century, like, it's just insane.
Bro, I'm sorry. I don't expect someone to be crying all the time, but being giddy about the funeral proceedings like that is so crazy.
Well, to be clear, Charlie had a separate funeral. This was a large public political event about memorializing him that turned into this massive MAGA rally, and it was a huge Turning Point fundraiser and other things, and you could critique that, but this was not his literal funeral.
I feel like I was more emotionally distraught than Erika Kirk was, because this was a motherfucker I knew for a longer period of time than Erika Kirk did. Let's be real.
I think we're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that, because I think
God damn, she's talking about merch. His body only freshly buried, and you're talking about how many sales you're driving. Oh my God.
My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead. And it puts life into perspective of how short life is.
My husband's dead, not to be morbid, but the KPIs are looking good. Let's talk about how much merch we're driving right now in the aftermath of my husband's death. That is crazy. You're being very disrespectful. Everyone grieves differently. Some of us sell merch and then celebrate how much merchandising we're pushing.
We have so much to do, which is exciting.
Bro! Ah! It's so exciting.
I think we have 50,000 plus hat orders to fulfill. It's weird to say I'm excited. I really hesitate saying that. It's really hard for me.
I don't think you do. I don't think you're hesitating at all, because you've said it numerous times. What is wrong with you, girl? You have said it so many times. Why do you keep saying it? Oh my God.
So ask yourself this. I mean, I find this kind of gross. He's using out of context moments of this widow to like mock her and laugh at her for entertainment content for his millions of viewers who hated Charlie Kirk and also hate his widow. But ask yourself this, like, Candace put this out there knowing that this would happen, right? She's a smart woman. She knows how the content game works. She knows that Erika will be humiliated and targeted and people will revel in it and people will mock her. Is that what Charlie Kirk would have wanted? I think Charlie would probably be rolling over in his grave at this point, cursing Candace Owens for the horrific treatment that Candace has subjected her to, his wife to. And again, it all comes back to the fact that there's no truth value to this, right? In law, there's something where you can object to evidence being entered if it's more prejudicial than it is probative, right? If it does more to just like inflame people's emotions and stir people up, but actually doesn't really prove anything one way or the other, or advance a case or have any legal relevance. Well, that's kind of how I look at this, is like, what have you accomplished by releasing this other than humiliating Erika Kirk? Other than unleashing a torrent and wave of harassment and mockery towards the widow of your supposed dear friend, because nothing about this Zoom call proves in any way Candace's crazy theories that TPUSA betrayed Charlie Kirk and worked with Egypt and Israel and the Trump administration and maybe Brigitte Macron and her penis to kill Charlie Kirk because he was maybe supposedly, who knows, not really, changing his position on Israel. It's like all so demented, and that somehow Egyptian planes were involved. Like, it's such a crazy theory with so little evidence basis or even coherence. Like, I don't even think you can find a Candace Owens fan who can accurately articulate what Candace says happened, because Candace can't articulate what she says happened. And anyway, this Zoom call proves nothing either way. So its only purpose, releasing it and publicizing it in this highly publicized manner like Candace has done, is really its only purpose is to humiliate Charlie Kirk's widow and to unleash this wave of harassment and mockery her way. And I just don't understand how anybody can think that's what Charlie Kirk would want, or that that's part of Candace Owens being a true dear friend to him. May those friends never find me. May a friend like that never find me. That's my take on that, guys. But you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments below. Do hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet. And guys, that'll be it for today's episode of the Brad vs. Everyone podcast. Thanks so much for listening, and we will talk again real soon.